Hello, everyone. Hello, John. Hello, Kareem. I'm gonna have to kill those lights. It's not gonna work for us. There we go. I don't know if that's gonna work either. No. This may not be the best way to go. There we go. Give myself a little halo. Hello, everyone. Hope everybody has had a good week. I don't know why Sundays end up being the day that I tend to feel more inclined to do live streams than otherwise. Yes, my scrape with the kidney stone was an enlightenment, and I feel after those 2 days where I was very reliant on medication, on pain meds, I was good. My body, my bladder came back in line. I felt weird for like a week. I felt, hi, Regina. I felt very not myself. I wasn't even as hungry. And then I realized that a lot of the big reason is that if you eat less oxalates, you actually somehow make less insulin and you're less hungry. I was totally blown away by that. And I guess that should qualify as the first nugget of truth that can help the rest of you, whether you're sensitive to oxalates or not. If you don't eat oxalates, if you go lower oxalates, you're going to find that you're less hungry. And I thought maybe that was just me until I realized other people have said that online. And Sally K. Norton, probably the leading authority on kidney stones today, she actually has in her blogs and within interviews has experienced the same thing with people who happen to be losing weight. They notice that they're less hungry if they tend to be doing low oxalate for their food choices. I just got done cooking. I've spent the whole day cooking. My uncle and I got together and we did some flashlight tinkering. You can see them in the back there, the lights. And we decided to part ways and then for the day. And then I've been cooking all day. So glad you guys could join us. So I'm going to pull up the list. If anybody has questions, just feel free to post them. And I'm going to do my go over the list that I linked to last time. If you guys have questions about things that are not related to kidney stone or issues in oxalates or anything like that, feel free to ask them. We don't have to talk about kidney stones. We're going to cap it at an hour today, so we won't run over, but we will go from there. So get a look at all of these foods that you can have on a low oxalate diet: banana, raisins, strawberries, apples, grapes, green or red. They don't recommend the dark ones like the Concord. Lemons, watermelon. You can have black and blueberries, but you have to limit them. Hot chili peppers, limit them. Some of those are moderate. Mixed vegetables, oriental vegetables, string beans, mung beans, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, corn. So you can have this stuff. That's very low oxalate. Iceberg lettuce, mushrooms, onions, peas, black-eyed peas, and you can have lima beans and lentils. Moderate. Those are in the moderate category. Scallions, yellow squash, zucchini, vanilla ice cream, American cheese, cheddar cheese, eggs, butter, salted, whole milk, corn tortillas, flour tortillas, white bread, macaroni and cheese. That's trippy. White rice, not brown rice. Chicken nuggets, meatballs, turkey dogs, bacon, chicken, hot dogs, ham, ground beef, lean or fatty, pork, turkey, venison, wild game, frozen fish sticks, flounder, halibut. The only thing you have to limit is sardines because they do have a few, and I love sardines. So, and let me finish here. Milk chocolate candies are on the high moderate, so you really cannot do. It's best to do white chocolate. Popcorn, either oil or air popped. Graham crackers, Ritz crackers, saltines, Gatorade. Well, I don't need to read all of it. There's still a few more, but that's basically all of it. Eggs, I think the honey, garlic, brown and white sugar, soy sauce, gravy, ketchup. You can have stuff that's descended from like a tomato and some seeds, but you can't have tomatoes directly because they're really high in oxalates. So anyway, I'm going to link to that again. The list that I mentioned in the last video for if you want the Excel doc with the updated list. By the way, there's a lot of conflict on the lists online. You'll see that they don't always agree. Well, I got that from some of the recommendations from Sally K. Norton's website. And again, she's worked with a lot of these, including the Autism Foundation, where they have an updated list because it turns out low oxalate helps with OCD and all of this stuff and concentration problems. It's really, really good. So it turns out I may be staying longer than I planned on this low oxalate routine. John Boston says, I think coffee makes me more hungry. No, you're absolutely right. It does. Caffeine makes your fasting journey more difficult. Now that I've gotten rid of it, I can fast even easier. What you do is you feel like you're placating that desire for something else when you have a caffeinated beverage, be it coffee or sodas or tea. So you give it to yourself, and then all of a sudden you notice you have a little more energy, if not a lot, depending on how much you drink. And then you start to realize you don't keep it. It wears off, but when it wears off, you tend to be more stimulated the same way you were exercising. So if you go out and you say, I'm hungry, I'm going to bury my efforts in exercise, you run into the problem of stimulating more hunger when you calm back down. So that's why, whether it's caffeine or exercise, it's good to not let it get the best of you. You're absolutely right. If you're really serious, do purified water right here and nothing else. I haven't had any. I did have a green tea this morning, one small green tea, and I didn't notice anything because it's low caffeine. It's about a third of the caffeine of 1 cup of coffee. And I do allow myself every other day a green tea or so, oolong, dandelion, burdock, or a few others, rooibos or hibiscus. So those are the teas I keep. I'm not doing black tea. But yes, John, you're not imagining that. Daniel, welcome. I lost 7 pounds last 8 days. That's excellent. John Boston says, I love sardines and just bought 10 cans. I did too, but it wasn't sardines this time. I did buy 3 cans of sardines because I'm not getting rid of them. And then I have mackerel, canned and fresh. And I just got done cooking up a 10-pack of mackerel in there and fried them in lard. And boy, howdy, my meal was today. That's the meal for tomorrow. I do this thing now where I cook on Sundays and I prepare for the week. And you know what? Now that I'm not eating out, because eating out is just junky, well, not very often. I do sometimes eat out, but very rarely. Now that I do that, I feel amazing. I feel even better. I've had 2 frozen shoulders that have been resisting me for about the last 6 months, like just being more resistant to movement. And I noticed getting rid of the oxalates, it's actually helping with that, which was unintentional. I didn't plan to. Before the kidney stone, I did not plan to make any changes. Hello, Shy Sarai Vlogs. Welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before. Hi, Glenn. I know you like spicy food. Have you ever tried cayenne red pepper on your fruit? No. To me, the idea of adulterating a fruit is like adulterating a pizza. I don't put peppers and crazy things on a pizza. I don't put pineapple on a pizza. I don't do a Mexican pizza. I just do a regular Italian style pizza because to me that's adulterating. It's like so fruit is forever going to be just fruit by itself. And I do very little fruit now. I do grapes, apples, and bananas, and dried fruits like raisins, that's pretty much it. So as far as cayenne, I put it on a lot of other things. Now it does have some on it, so I now moderate it. Actually, I've gotten rid of most hot stuff. I've only had 1 or 2 days this entire month that I've had anything hot at all. And but you can have one way around that is to do red peppers, hot red peppers. So those little red pepper flakes you get like when you order a pizza, or just you can go and buy a big crushed red pepper thing at the store. For some reason, those have slightly less oxalates than normal spicy stuff. So when you go to a Mexican restaurant, you find you have a whole bunch of salsa in a dish. It's tomato based, most of it, so it's hot oxalates. So I've eliminated that, and I've stuck with just certain peppers like cayenne and mainly just crushed red pepper. But no, not on the fruit. They're not going on the fruit, my friend. I don't care. I don't care who says what. That to me is just absolutely bonkers. Shai says, first time thinking about long-term OMAD. Listen, you really don't have any reason why you can't. If you're not chronically underweight, most people come to this channel are not underweight, maybe the opposite. They're looking to make a change. But even if you are just average weight or above, you really should do OMAD. You'll have the benefit of everything in your life that'll be an improvement. Your blood sugar levels will be more stable. You will feel better. Your cholesterol, and if you have any, it's all of that's going to come down. You will have you will quit being a slave to food, just like everybody on this channel has experienced since 2015 when we started here. Hi, Siraj. Good to hear from you again. He asks how to respectfully reject if someone brings brownies, donuts to work and offers them to you. In our culture, it's rude to deny food when someone is offering them to you. Okay, I did a video. Look up the EDS principle, EDSS principle, and it basically says expect it, declare it, and store it, and say thanks. That's the principle. Basically, you have to get in the habit and be prepared with a response. You say, "Oh, listen, I'm so flattered that you would do that. Unfortunately, I'm on a restricted eating plan." And then just say, "I totally will. I just not now." As far as if it can't be that rude. I mean, you're doing it. Here's what I would say, and I've addressed this with people before who just were overwhelmed because of cultural considerations. And you're not the only one, Siraj, who's mentioned this. You should say, because of medical concerns, maybe I need to wait until later, but I am definitely going to have it. So kind of put it like it's above you, like it's something that is a situation that's out of your hand. That's what I would do, Siraj. By the way, I hope it's better. The Delta variant and all of the stuff that you guys have been dealing with overseas, I hope it's better over there. I know that the last time we had a live stream, it was bodies in the streets. Hope everything is done well. Pepper on muskmelon, Daniel? Never muskmelon? What is a muskmelon? I'm sorry, but if it's a watermelon, I'll only smoothie them up and drink them. I don't. Nothing goes in, nothing touches it ever. And I don't even like watermelon except if it's if somebody brings some, I'll just smoothie it up because it's basically juice, and then that'll be the end of the game. That's the end of the game. John says, "I am Italian. No pineapple on pizza, please." Finally, someone with self-respect. I get this war between people who like pineapple on a pizza and people who do not. And it's one of the craziest things in 10 generations. I do not understand anchovies. I hate them. And I don't like pineapple on a pizza. I don't even like bell peppers and stuff like that. I want Italian sausage or hamburger with extra sauce, like a deep dish. That's how I do my pizza. I don't do the breadcrumb Italian style, like true Italian. You might have an issue with me there, but I would rather do that as a that's okay, same as a cantaloupe. Okay. I don't do cantaloupe at all. So you just carry on, my friend. Me, I'm gonna stay right like I am. But I appreciate that. I didn't know what a muskmelon was. But Italian food is like that. So far, some of my meals have been centered on cooking, and I have this passion for cooking now. I'm starting to fry stuff. I have some of the best lard, manteca lard, which is you can get a big vat of it, throw it in the pan, throw in some, make some delicious eggs and bacon, make some delicious, whether it's a breakfast routine or what, and then I'll have some green grapes, and I'll have maybe a couple bananas. I'm also supplementing potassium citrate and I'm taking 4 a day, so about 400, 500, nearly 500 milligrams of potassium, plus what I'm getting in the meats, which it turns out meats are really good on the potassium front. Look back here. I've cleaned out the fridge. I have no more almond milk. That was the no, 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 no more almond milk, no nuts. Uh, let's see, what else did I get rid of? Of course, I even got rid of oats. You guys know how I like to put oats in a bowl and pour chocolate syrup on it and a little bit of dab of peanut butter. Well, the oats, the peanut butter, and the chocolate syrup are loaded with oxalates. So I have, for the time, put those away. I will see in the future if how long that's going to go. But I look at that from the list. You can see that there's a lot of food choices. Abby, hello. Do you ever check your blood sugar, and do you think OMAD and intermittent fasting can have a negative impact on blood sugar due to the heavy food dump all at once? So let me unpack that a little. That's a great question, and it is something that people have to be concerned with if they are diabetic. Really, only if they are diabetic type 1 or type 2. If they were type 1, they're probably not going to be pursuing any sort of intermittent fasting because they can't fast without having high blood glucose levels. So that's really the only type of person who really can't do it. I talk to a lot of people who are diabetic who are fasting, and nearly all of them drop their blood sugar. They do it sometimes more or less dramatically. Sometimes it takes a while. Do I ever check my blood sugar? I just did. I went with this kidney stone for a full blood panel. I went back to my endocrinologist to check my thyroid, and my thyroid is good as gold. I'm absolutely where I should be. Parathyroid, and all the endocrinology numbers are exactly where I expected them to be. Testosterone is 958. My blood sugar was a 5.0 this time, which is about what it normally is. It's usually 4.4 to 5 somewhere, depending on how long I fasted for the day before. But yes, I do check it yearly, if not bi-yearly. Sometimes I've checked it when my sister was alive. We had she would bring her kid, and I would do a prick and just to see. And of course, I'm always the lowest one there. I don't have any problem there at all. It's just not a problem I have. I can eat ice cream and Chinese food and pizza on a binge, and guess what? My blood sugar won't pass 130. It just won't. So I don't have a problem there. Do others? It depends on if they've been fasting, whether or not their liver glycogen reserves have been depleted, and how long they have been. So if they've been fasting for a while, then and they're burning fat, then their body's going to adjust over to fat burn. And because that is the case, it will allow a big shift so that they're burning fat. That even if they do eat one day, they do eat too much. They're not even going to taste. Food tastes weird to me when I'm burning fat. Like even now, I'm again into a very serious one meal a day, no cheating, hardcore, and I'm losing weight like crazy. And I'm not trying, but I feel if I taste something sweet, it goes, oh, that's nice, but it doesn't taste lust, as if there's insulin dominance. So, can it have a negative impact? The only way it's going to have a negative impact is if your liver is not working and you have an autoimmune type of diabetes that can't be treated. So that's the only time. Usually, what happens is if a person is eating a proper OMAD meal as I teach it, they're going to have blood sugar that is not. They're not going to spike their sugar eating a huge meal. They're going to eat a small one-plate meal with apple cider vinegar, a beverage. Even if it's above that, it's not going to be that big a spike. If a person goes out and binges, then that would be a different matter. Then they might have a negative impact on their blood sugar if they have blood sugar problems. But no, it's not. Mostly what happens with people who are even, let's say, pre-diabetic, or they're heading toward pre-diabetic, they start to collect water. You can see their tissues, they get water, their ankles get wider, they start to itch, they start to have hot flashes. They get the symptoms of pre-diabetes. They get thirsty, and all of the other symptoms. They get leg cramps that are uncontrollable. They start to get eye problems. Everything starts looking blurry. And then what happens is at the first meal, their sugar goes high, but it doesn't go as high as it normally goes. But even if it does, the next day it comes back down just by a point or two. The next day by another 2 points. The next day, it might spike back up to the first reading, and then the next day, down 4. So basically, usually it's always down some percentage points. So it is really, really not a thing, and that's why I tell people who are. We have a documentary coming out, by the way, and I'm gonna do a. I'm going to do an announcement on that at some point soon in a video. We have an OMAD documentary coming out, me and a producer from Australia. So we're actually going to make this much more, hopefully much more viewed and much more seen. So basically, it's recommended for most anybody. Very seldom can people not fast because of blood sugar. All they got to do is control their meal and make sure they stay in control the whole time. If a person knows that potatoes don't agree with them, there we go. There we go. Okay, you can see this little. I have a little sty up here, so if you notice, my eyes looks a little bit different. That's why. But blood sugar, unless you can't fast because of dawn phenomenon or an ability to fast. That would be the only consideration. But nearly all diabetics I know, their sugar comes down. I had a guy working at the airport reached out to me. He had a 320, like a blood sugar. Every time he would eat, it would be 320. I was right ready to say he should give up. And then he kept doing what I said. He took out the potatoes, which were aggravating him. His blood sugar would react very negatively. And that's another nightshade, by the way, high oxalate food. He got rid of it. He started losing weight like crazy. His blood sugar went right down. He's nearly at a normal fasting. He's just a little higher than the national average. I think he's 5.8 or 5.7 A1C. This happens. So if you are diabetic or you're struggling, you know, monitor yourself. But like I tell everybody, give it 6 weeks. I hope that helps, Abby. John says, wow, 900 testosterone. What was it prior to all your weight loss? It's always been high. I tested it, and it's always been high. And as a result, I have a lot of body hair. I mean, I just do. We have just an awful lot of testosterone. But yeah, it was, the doctor was like, wow, you're one of the high, I have the testosterone of a kid. So that has some advantages. It has some advantages in putting on muscle. It has advantages in the bedroom. It has advantages in how you feel when your mood, your health overall. So I'm doing well there. Blood sugar doing well. Most all chemical levels. Getting back to the blood test, the lowest thing for me was I was a little bit low on B12, and the doctor determined that I actually had a resistance to absorbing B12. So she recommended shots, like I get shots. And a lot of people do. Meat eaters are not. They detected that by looking at the liver, they detected a little bit of bilirubin in my urine. And so that was another, getting into some information here. I don't think it's TMI, but they did a good panel. Everything was great. I also had a little bit of a low white blood cell count, which accounts for the fasting. Some people just do, and that means you're healthy. So if your doctor tells you, oh, your white blood cell count is low, as long as all of your neutrophils and lymphocytes are normal, then you're doing okay. That's what I've seen. So we talked and we had a good discussion. But ultimately was a really good. It was a really, really, really good experience. So all of this, like we say, there's a silver lining to everything. I know it's a cliche, but let's go with it. It was really helpful because I went back for totally good blood work and very surprised. Everything is good. Suraj, if you need some help, just reach out, Joe at joeholmanonline.com. And you go to joeholmanonline.com, you click on the link, and there'll be professional services. I mean, you'll see you can just talk to me. Just book me, and I'll be happy to help you out. Hello, Maria, one of my favorites. Good to see you too. Abby says, I was curious. This is about her blood sugar question. Because IF and OMAD because after I'm in 2 years with maintained weight loss, started testing my sugars and they were pre-diabetic levels. Unfortunately, I did engage in weekly carb binges. That'll make all the difference. So here's the thing with the carb binges. If you have, and this is why people don't like, they see OMAD as sort of a license to binge. And I even did a video, license to binge. It's not. Um, for people who are normal, they can binge at what the one meal and still probably lose weight, if not stay the same weight, because their sugars are in control. If you have the potential to be pre-diabetic, then you cannot splurge. You cannot go on carb benders. When you go out there, it's like a drinking binge. It will mess you up because it's not your body's not going to bring you back to basic levels. Why this happens? It's no different than anything else. Why it's an anomaly, but it's something that a lot of people can't do. I've mentioned a guy on this channel before. He's a young man who works with TSA at the airport. Young, strong. He's got abs. I mean, this dude is in shape. Like he could just sit there and just make embarrass anybody he's against. Of course, he's 27, but his blood sugar is terrible. He's going to have to go on insulin pretty soon. Why did that happen to him and not to you or someone else? Why are you able to control it and some others able to control it, or maybe you're not able to control it? The reason that happens is because it's like being tall or short. Why are some men very short? Why are some men very tall? You can't control all of those variables. So it's just something you accept and you move on and you stay away from what aggravates you. I don't, what are some things that aggravate me? Well, the peanuts, for example, not only are they high oxalate, but now that I've removed them, I feel that my joints are better. So that's something I just discovered. I can sit there all day and get mad and say, well, I should be able to eat anything I want. In a perfect world, it would be that way, but it's not. Some people cannot eat lactose because I had a coach in school. If you offer him a bowl of ice cream and a milk, he can't do it. You're going to have to call an ambulance. It's just, he can't do it. I had a guy who worked for me in Austin who did he had to carry an EpiPen because if he had touched any residue of a nut or a peanut, he would, that'd be it. That could be the end of the game. So you just accept that and you move on. And you don't try to rethink it. You don't try to over process it. You just say, that's what I have to do. It's no different than me and the kidney stones. I'm better. My bladder's better. My stones are gone if I stay away from diet sodas because I drink less water. If I have coffee, if I have diet sodas, it doesn't work out as well. So instead of, and especially the fact that I've had one, I've had one before. Why argue with that? Don't argue with it. Just accept that that's the nature of you. And so I do hope that if you eliminate what's a trigger, then you be on the and don't feel sorry for yourself. Just move ahead. Demont, I remember I replied to your question earlier about the anabolic diet. It's just basically, as far as I'm able to tell, it is just carb cycling. It means carbs on the weekends and then high fat, low carb during the week. And I don't see how that's any different than using sense and maintaining weight on OMAD. You have days where you can say, hey, I'm going to let go today. I'm going to eat a little bit more. I'm going to eat what I shouldn't. I'm going to have some chocolate. I'm going to have some salsa. And other days you say, no, I don't want to do that because I'm going to keep strong and I'm going to make myself run. I'm going to get out of me. As far as Greg Doucette's, I don't really know more than that. I did look into it briefly, and that's all I could tell from it looks like it's kind of designed for bodybuilders to not gain fat, but to gain muscle, which is kind of the age-old thing, right? I mean, that's how many people don't want that. So that's pretty much the nature of it. Hello, Sue. Another one of my early faves. Hope you're doing well. Have you heard of any changes in thyroid levels with OMAD? It's an excellent question. And the answer is, of all the people I have worked with who had confirmed thyroid problems, they had them before OMAD. I thought I had thyroid problems years ago because I had some anomalous readings on a test. When I went back in, like now, I had 2 more tests to confirm, to make sure. I spent my own money to make sure these tests were accurate. So I had one test and then I had another. And they all came back perfect. So I knew that, there's anomalies in tests. So assuming that you had thyroid problems, and then you went on OMAD, wouldn't be a thing. If you developed thyroid problems after OMAD, that still would not be a thing. And the reason you would know is because you could test it. You could go back 3 months and just eat when you're hungry, and you'd see that there is no change. This gets back to what we said with Abby's question about blood sugar. You really don't have the need to it's probably going to be happening with you whether or not you approve or not. Again, some people can control their blood sugar with dietary changes. Most people, the vast majority of people, but some can't. With thyroid levels, it's usually not like that. You can take ashwagandha if you need to boost your thyroid, and that has helped a lot of people. If not, um, you may be dependent on a hormone like ARM or thyroid, desiccated thyroid versus synthetic thyroid, like levothyroxine. But no, that doesn't happen. So you're not going to, unless what you're thinking of, you might be thinking of, if I'm reading you right. There are people that criticize fasting because they say it can hurt T3 absorption and makes you to where you appear to be hypothyroid. That's not true. And it could only be true in the same way that it could be true for someone who's depriving themselves for too long. So let's say you get someone who's doing OMAD for 2 years and they manage to get malnourished. They're eating junk. It is possible that they could malnourish their thyroid, but in my experience, that doesn't happen. I don't run into that very often. As a matter of fact, I've never run into that because of OMAD. So if a person calorie restricts for long enough and eats little crackers and wafers and doesn't get nutrients in their food, there is a possibility they might be malnourished, but that probably would not manifest in thyroid. That would manifest in anemia or something more obvious. So that's what I'm guessing would be the situation there. But no, I'm working with lots of people, and I don't have people who are telling me that their thyroid's crashing. You sometimes hear that though on like Berg and Eric Berg and all these. They say, oh, if you go on a crash diet, your thyroid will crash. And that's not true because you have tons of reserves in your body. If you were dieting stupidly, extremely low calorie for years and years on end, you might cause a problem. But I would doubt that it wouldn't be because of OMAD. It would be because you're not being responsible. Abby says, thanks for info, cutting carbs now and working on fixing it. I thought I had discovered a way to eat what I wanted and not gain weight, and I wasn't gaining weight, but still impacting me negatively. Well, it sounds like you're on the cusp there. Try experimenting with a meat dominant diet for a while, and then go on a low oxalate diet, because a lot of people, I say diet, don't go on diet, just start eating better. I'm sorry, I don't want to fall for all the nonsense that people give on most channels on YouTube. But you'll find that you'll be more satiated and you will not be struggling as much as you are. You might also find that it's better to move the mealtime in the morning or shift it around to where it's more agreeable to your lifestyle. Once you do that, you want to just make sure you're fat adapting properly. And that's why if you start with OMAD on high carbs, which is what I did back in the day, I wasn't wise about how I did it. And it was hard. It was so god-awful hard because I was eating bad food. Had I continued, I would have probably had problems, per Sue's question. But I didn't. I started to develop a taste for good foods, and that's what your body does. So if you hold yourself to it and you start working on, relying on eggs and bacon and butter for a while, and then cauliflower, riced cauliflower, and then add in the rice and see how you do with your blood sugar, you'll find that I don't think you'll have as much of a problem. I know that a lot of people that I thought would not respond, I started talking to them. I'm like, no, this person's going to end up on insulin because they had really bad numbers, like 400 blood sugar. And then they ended up, it went right away, So that's the nature of that. But hello, Eileen. Welcome back. Scott says, welcome, Scott. I experience constipation frequently with OMAD. Any thoughts? Yes. So your body, and this depends partly on your age. I don't know your age. If you want to put your age in the comments, you can. But the older you get, the more of a problem this becomes. But it's also a problem with really younger people too, who they don't adjust yet. So if you go really low volume of food. Like let's say you start doing a saucer plate of OMAD and you're getting like 600 calories a day. You will find, okay, 56. Okay, thank you for that. This is very typical. So what you will need to do, well, let me finish my thought first. Uh, the problem with that is your body doesn't have enough force to push through what you've got going. And as a result, it backs up, and then you go to day 4 without a bowel movement, and then it's really tough and hard. That usually happens for a while until your body adjusts, and then it finally adjusts, which is one of the reasons it's good to use stuff like acidic stuff, apple cider vinegar, rice vinegar, to help in a juice to get your stuff down. And that's one of the reasons to make sure you're getting flesh food with your meal if you're a plant-based person like I more or less was. You end up with constipation if you try eating vegan. If you try eating like Atkins and paleo, you end up constipated a lot of the time. So what you would have to do is mix your meals and then start where you eat more, and then you eat uncharacteristically. Have a day where you eat carbs, have a day where you eat a protein dominant meal, and then mix it up. Keep your stomach acidity high, 2 to 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and your body will figure out as the time goes by what you're doing. Don't jump off. Now, being that you are 56, the issue is your metabolic wave, or what is it? Your gut lining, your peristaltic wave is slowing down. When you're a kid, it's doing this, and that's why kids are so regular. When you get older, it's just doing this. So that's why you elderly in nursing homes get impacted. And I remember my great grandmother. I remember sitting out in the lobby and hearing her scream. They had to go in there and dislodge. And but that's an extreme case. She was 91. But what you can do, so when you start doing this, you want to stay with a lot of protein in your diet. You also want to make sure you're getting potassium, whether it's through supplementation or with like plant-based foods like bananas. You want to mix, is what I'm telling you. Like I just mentioned, you want to mix plants and animals properly because it will give your stool the consistency to come through. And while that sounds really gross, it's people go on these fiber cleanses and they end up more constipated than ever, which is just freaking crazy. Because how do you get psyllium husk will make you go? These X-Lax tablets, you can take too many of those and your body will again stop up. And so as a result, your body can't pull it through. If it has different stuff and you're drinking a lot of water, by the way, drink when you get up in the morning, if you want to make yourself regular, even at any age, take 2 of these every morning as soon as you get up and drink them pretty fast. I've done that, and guess what? You will go, even if you don't feel like it's possible. If not every day, you'll go to having bowel movements every other day, and then before you know it, you'll be back in the habit of being able to summon a bowel movement. And then longer than that, you'll get in the habit of going and you'll have the normal impulses. I do know how that is. That's a common complaint on OMAD. And the problem is it's just there's no pressure because if you came from eating a lot and especially multiple meals, you're getting tons of push because you have more and more coming down the pipe. Well, now you don't. So make the water the substitute for now. Make sure your stomach acidity is really strong. So 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar at your meal if you can. You don't have to do it always, but it helps. Supplement and make sure you get potassium and magnesium. I have magnesium supplements in there. They're gummies I take. And I take potassium and I take the potassium and the magnesium so that they're both in conjunction together. I feel amazing and no more cramps. I used to have night cramps occasionally, and it was when I got rid of the sodas with this kidney issue, done. No, I don't have any cramps. I don't sit in the bed and feel my toes start to move. But that's the problem, Scott, is your peristaltic wave is slowing down and you're starting to know eating less. You'll notice that that'll be a problem, but it won't. You can push it through. You just drink a whole bunch of water really fast. Warm water is even more effective, but it can be any water. Like I said, I can do 2 of these. I get about a liter of water a day. I mean, a gallon of water a day throughout the day now. Wonderful. I feel better. I never cramp, and I have my muscles work better. I feel like I can contract better. So try that, and then maybe report back. And but you'll figure that out, and it won't stay like that because your body's going to adjust to how you're doing, to what you're doing, because it learns that anytime you do anything, it's going to keep you moving because it's going to have to get rid of stuff. Also, keep an activity level, because the more you do things that are strenuous on your body, like exercise of some sort, even if it's walking, you start to rumble. It's like the feeling you get when your bowels start moving when there's stress in your life. So you do want something that's going to keep you functional. Otherwise, your body's going to do what you do in your 50s. You ration. Your body starts rationing calories, and it will start holding on to stuff because it doesn't want to. It thinks you're going to die, and you want to convince it you're not by being largely consistent. So I hope that answers that. But that's a common thing. You're totally not alone. Suraj, I'm 25. I too have constipation issues. Only eating salted peanuts has helped. Yeah, peanuts do. If you can handle the nuts and you're not afraid of the oxalates, they do help. Peanut butter, I mean, that stuff, and a lot of oil too. If you get like a greasy, you cook in lard and you like more a carnivore. Surprisingly, a lot of these people are not constipated. Like it's closer to the other direction, and really surprising. Magnesium supplements are very well known for helping, and as I just mentioned. John says, an old naturopath told me to drink warm water with lemon in the morning with a teaspoon of olive oil. I haven't put the teaspoon of olive oil, but I have lime and lemon that I use, and they work equally well. That's also true. Spray, like in a cup this big, put that much lemon, or lime, make it really strong so that your body will, your kidneys, it'll not only clean your kidney if you have any fatty liver or non-alcoholic fatty liver going on, it'll take care of that like in a month. So do that in the morning. You can add that too. I like to do that after. I actually do now 2 waters, just plain waters in the morning, and then I wait about an hour, and I do a very strong lemon, pending getting close to the meal, a lemon or lime water filled up about yay height. And then when I'm done, you need to make sure I wash my mouth out and then brush my teeth. If you're doing heavy lemon, you need to remember that, because you are it's gonna be very hard on your teeth. And if you look at a lot of the vegans, that's what you see. You see a lot of them have terrible teeth, and the reason is because of the acidity of citrus stuff. But it's great for everything, just so long as you take care of your teeth. Olive oil, yes, olive oil is going to be pretty good. I have heard that recommended for constipation as well. So that on its own would probably do pretty well. Hi, John Cadell. What's your take on coconut water? I particularly don't like the stuff. Um, it just doesn't do it for me. I have had it, and here's the thing: it's one of the best things for kidney stones in the world. So I should probably start drinking it at least a little, but it isn't. It isn't really my thing. But no, it's there's nothing wrong with it, because it does, your body distills it, and it does wonders for your urine and works against any formation of stones. What can I eat for magnesium? There are tons of foods. If you look up foods, just Google foods high in magnesium. All of the meats are going to be really good. There are certain fruits and vegetables that are going to be really good. Really good stuff. Um, a lot of these are like almonds and cashews and spinach. Actually, take that off. That's not true, because you don't absorb spinach, calcium, or any of the nutrients from spinach because of the oxalates. They actually block it. Let's see. Yeah, mainly a lot of nuts, black beans, lima beans, which are lower oxalate if you want to do lima beans, quinoa, milk. Those are a few, but yeah, if you look it up, you can go over and do what I do. Go over the things that you have to do, because you have to do it if you want to do it. You have to ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to say, this is what I want to do. This is what I can eat. I know that I'll eat fish, I'll eat mackerel, I'll eat catfish. I will eat all of the meats nearly. And I'll eat rice. You guys know I love rice. I love black eyed peas. I can do that. But yeah, ultimately, it's a question of you, and that's ultimately going to be what is required. Well, folks, I'm going to cut this short here. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and put them. I need to run. Also, the conditions are about to become unfavorable to continue with the live stream, and my battery's about to die, and I've got somewhere to run. So I'm going to say goodbye. Anybody has any questions, reach out to me, and you guys have a super week. Thank you all, Victoria, John. Y'all have a great one.